Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. Today we're looking at your career and financial situation. So we'll break that down by looking at what your circumstances are. So what's your employment situation just at the moment and where is the money at for you right now? We'll look at the past in terms of everything that's been leading up to this particular point, but most importantly, we'll project a timeline into the future in terms of the outcomes for you with your career and your finances. Now, before we get started, if you would like to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you on the screen, we've got 5 different cards to choose from. And the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really clearly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one card if it comes through really strongly for you. And just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. Now we have card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, or card 5. So taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath, and as you release the breath, allowing your intuition, your inner voice, the energy of the cards to guide you. Which of these cards comes through for you the strongest? Is it card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, or card 5? Now down below there are 5 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you'd like to go to the one that you've chosen, I'll see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading and we are looking at your career and financial situation. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on. I'm really interested to come up here to the Hangman and the 5 of Pentacles. I feel like you've been alienated in some sort of a way in the workplace. You know, it's as though you've been cornered out of engaging in your work in a way that is both productive and enjoyable. I really feel here that these 2 cards represent some sort of like a targeted attempt to kind of put you down or to cast you aside in a way where the idea is really to make you feel very bad about yourself and what it is that you're doing. And I felt that this was actually quite collective. Here with the Hangman, you know, it's a card of restriction. It's a real stop card. You know, the energy says that everything is stagnated and the only way to move forward is to make some sort of a sacrifice in order to kind of, you know, lighten the load and get some lift. The 5 of Pentacles is a card of being outcast in a way. It's certainly, you know, a card that suggests doors have been closed on you in a way where you don't have access to support and to resources. You know, there's no prosperity going on here and on any single level. I kind of feel for you in terms of an experience that this has been just a very restricted, I guess, a very, I want to say more than restricted. It's really about being disabled or disempowered in a way where you're just unable to get him back on board with the team or with the work that you're doing in a way that feels like it has a future, okay? So this could be a lot of different things depending on who it is that you are. I felt that this could be definitely a case of bullying, either by an individual or by a collective of people. I felt that the environment was very negative. I felt that you were also being asked to make a lot of sacrifices to where you were at your work at this time. So for some of you, it could be that your employer is actually asking way too much from you as an individual. Maybe they're asking you to take a salary cut or to freeze your wages or to do more work in a way where, you know, it kind of enslaves you in some sort of a form. But I definitely felt that there was also this feeling of not like being not good enough, like being told that you're not good enough, or made to feel that you're not good enough. You know, it's very oppressive and a real push down in terms of your experience to kind of just go to work and to be able to engage in a way where, not only can you just get your job done without feeling inhibited or bullied or forced to sort of make sacrifices that, are really uncomfortable for you. So I kind of feel overall that this has actually been quite a negative experience. If I come over here to the Lovers and the Four of Swords, it kind of builds on that energy in a way. This is a further indication of feeling like you don't have any power. It's a position of being like almost like you're a sitting duck or a soft target or a scapegoat. The Four of Swords here. There's not a lot of energy here. It's a recovering state. So the energy is very low. The swords are obviously these are cards of conflict, and so I kind of feel that you're sitting in a position where you're meditating on what the problems are in a way, trying to figure out maybe what is it you need to do in order to move forward. It's coupled here with the Lovers, which is a card of choices, and I feel here that you can't make a choice to go one way or the other at this point in time. This thing about enslavement comes up really strongly for me. I kind of almost feel like you're in a position where you're forced into this situation and you have no choice. Maybe it's because you need the job and the money. I mean, I don't think you need the job. It's certainly a case of maybe needing the money. I kind of feel like this situation has you over in a barrel where you can't make any choices to liberate yourself and to get the outcomes that would actually give you a sense of freedom and prosperity and engagement in a way that actually gives you constructive results. So I felt very much here at this point in time, there was a lack of resolution to the situation in a way where everything was just kind of waiting in the balance. And that it stops you from actioning anything in terms of making a decision to move forward. So I also felt for some of you that this could be like a very long-standing grievance, one that's actually just stagnated. The Four of Swords is a card that is very still. It's a stopped position. It's a meditative position. It's a recovering position, but it's also a stagnant position that is not going one way or the other. So there's no activity in that respect. Coming down here to Justice and the Knave of Swords, I find these two cards really interesting in the context of what we're seeing here, because I felt here with Justice, this is about fair and decent outcomes. So this could reflect the idea of a tribunal or, perhaps a legal implication with what's going on in your job. Maybe this has to do with a union that actually is involved with your case. Or it could be to do with the management structure, like HR, maybe having to hear out what your grievance is and looking at both sides of the coin in a way that actually makes a decision one way or the other to act in your best interest, but also in the interests of the employer as well. It's coupled with the Knave of Swords, and the Knave of Swords is a card of self-doubt. It's a very gritty card in that, it's a real thought process that leads into thinking about lots of different details in terms of what's going wrong. So quite negatively focused on that level. And that doubt can really turn inwards in a way where it actually really starts to sabotage your confidence. And I felt here that perhaps your perception about any kind of support from a third party, that it's not going to be unbiased, that everything's set against you in a way where you won't get a fair and just outcome in some ways. So for me, this feels like it's a process of conflict resolution that's infused with a lot of doubt by you, that sort of says, I don't know if I have any faith in this process. I don't know whether this is actually going to give me the support that I need. And most importantly, I think that the Knave of Swords, it really reinforces this quite ongoing anxiety that amplifies this very difficult sort of ongoing situation in a way that really creates a lot of inner conflict for yourself, and also gnaws away at your own self-confidence. And I think maybe you're starting to ask questions around yourself as to, what have I done wrong? Maybe this is all me. Maybe this is all my own doing. Maybe I brought this on myself. Maybe my inability to stand up for myself and to push back on what's going on in a way where I can actually be heard, has failed. So therefore I've failed myself. And this situation is certainly failing me in a way where I don't know which way to go, because until we actually draw a line under this, I can't really get the resolution that I need in order to move forward. I feel that here, with the Magician and the Eight of Chalices, I thought these were much more positively dignified cards in the context of what we're seeing here. There's definite motivation to move forward, but I think that idea of moving forward is about moving onwards. You can see here with the Eight of Chalices is the end of a period or the end of an era. It's about cycles. It's about the realization that you're not going to get any fulfillment out of a particular situation. It's a very emotional response to what's going on. It's coupled with the Magician, which is a motivated card to kick things into action, to move things forward. And these two cards say to me, I'm ready to move on. I've had enough of this situation. And why wouldn't you? Because it's actually been very negative. It's been very sabotaging in a way where, I feel that this is targeted and that you've actually been done over in a way where it's led to some very negative outcomes in terms of your mental health. And, there's just a loss of trust, a loss of faith in the process that actually should support you. And I feel that, there's a lot to lose here in terms of the outcome as far as that's concerned. So for me, at this point in time, you're sort of saying, look, I just want a new beginning. I want to take back my power. The Magician is all about power and invoking it, striking it into action, communing with that power in a way where it just starts to focus it in a way where it actually ignites new possibilities. So very much about taking back your power and what I think also really wanting to show other people what is it you're made of. I don't want to be a sitting duck. I don't want to be a scapegoat. I don't want to be a soft target. I actually want to be seen as somebody who has power, who is powerful, who can actually empower my outcomes. Really interesting, right? Is because I feel that there is an outcome here that is going to really surprise you, given how it is that you seem to feel right now. If we come up here to the Empress and the Four of Wands, really lovely two cards, right? This situation for me feels that it's going to be one where a gate opens in some way and gives you a resolved situation. I really felt here, especially you can see this here with the Four of Wands, that this would bring back some sort of a harmony between the two different parties. The two of you would actually find an outcome to this situation. When I say the two of you, I mean you and your employment would find some sort of resolution to what's going on in a way that actually gives you both prosperous results. I feel here that there is not only harmony, but there's actually a very industrious outcome that gives you abundant results in terms of both your work opportunities, but also your ability to resolve things and to get back along with each other in a way that everybody's going to be happy. The Empress is a card of industrious outcomes in terms of things being just very fertile. So this says to me that there's new ground up ahead, that there is a new beginning in a way that creates this is a very safe environment that I'm seeing. I feel like you're able to be vulnerable again here in the future in a way that you feel very uncertain about right now. I felt that there was going to be a release of really industrious work-related activity where doors begin to open up for you. And I felt that here with the Empress, this is a card of abundance. And so is the Four of Wands. These are really high-yielding cards in terms of their work-related activity. It's a focus on productivity. It's a focus on abundance and growth and development. So very prosperous results here. So in all, I feel very strongly here that the outcome in your situation is one where you are going to have a very positive, supported outcome that will actually recognize that things have not been going well for you and that you are deserving of some sort of a commitment by this employer or employee, or organization. That really gets on board with you in a way that really tries to resolve the situation by making sure that you're happy as an employee and that you work very cohesively with them in a way that actually gets really good outcomes for the both of you. So I felt that this was worth sticking out. Whatever it is that's going on here in terms of this conflict, I felt that this was going to be addressed and that your grievances were going to be closely listen to it. Actually, before I finish this, if we come back down here to Justice and the Knave of Swords, the one thing that I do feel here is that this is the Knave of Swords is a card that definitely listens. It looks over things in quite a lot of detail. When you contrast this with Justice, or you contextualize it with Justice, you see here that this process of conflict resolution, that this party will listen to you very closely. They will look very detailed into what's going on here in a way where they'll really see what's going on for you as an individual. So if you have been bullied, if you are suffering from some sort of alienation, within your employment here, this process will actually listen to that and recognize what's going on in a way where they will give you justice. So I feel that there is actually a very just outcome here. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading and we're looking at your career and financial situation today. So let's have a look and see what's going on here. This is quite an interesting reading actually. I want to start over here with the Devil and the 8 of Pentacles. And I felt that you had your own kind of business idea up and running here this is in the past, okay? So leading up to this particular point. This could be quite a lot of different things. Maybe it's some sort of a service that you're providing somebody. Maybe you're a therapist, or perhaps you're a tradesperson, or maybe you've got an Etsy shop, or perhaps you have some kind of whatever it is. Basically it's providing something for people on a supply and demand basis. And I felt that you were a very authentic individual who was very hands-on with what you did, and whatever it is that you produced, you were really involved with that in a way that was about delivering something that was kind of 100% authentic, And so from that point of view, it's a very involved process where I kind of feel that it's hands-on and you're in there doing it. You're everything. You're providing the service in terms of the business. So it's advertising, it's business planning, it's financing, it's actually doing the job. And I felt that was you doing it on your own, alone. And I feel that when you're in that element of doing that particular job, it's like you're kind of, that's your best kind of place, really. I feel like you've found your path on this level. It's like, it's the envy for most people who are out there in the workplace, because nobody really knows what it is that they want to do. But, you found what it is that you love doing. You know what it is that you're really good at. And so you've decided to put it out there in a way where you want to make something of it, is essentially what it is that I'm saying. And I feel that you've actually made some considerable strides to actually achieve a good footing. Like you've actually established a grounding in what it is that you've been doing. And I feel that you've had some really amazing responses to that. I kind of felt that, people love what it is that you actually do for them. That there is a real engagement from those people in a way where there's there's return business. But I felt at the same time, so everything I've just described there, you can see with the 8 of Pentacles, it's a really forward focusing card in a way that sort of says, look, I know what it is that I love to do, and I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to be hands-on and make it happen. It's coupled with the Devil. So the Devil actually places a lot of limitations on this idea. And I felt that there's been quite a number of obstacles for you that have really caused some setbacks in a way where, from a financial planning point of view, it's like you're not where you want to be. It's probably taken you quite a long time, I would have said, to kind of carve out this established footing, and so it's not like it's not hitting the ground running and kind of gathering momentum. It's kind of one step at a time. And although you're getting work, and although you're engaging with people and producing whatever it is that they want, you're kind of not where you want to be. You want to be at the other end, sort of, making more money, getting more business, and making more progress. But unfortunately, there's just been a lot of limitations. It could be this is also a niche market as well for some of you. I feel that, perhaps the costs that are involved to get this up and running have been, maybe it's been a really tight budget to do that. And so you're kind of questioning, the pay that you're getting versus the amount of time that you're putting in. Because I think you put a lot of time into what it is that you're doing. You're very dedicated and you're quite an authentic individual. And I think the thing is you actually give 100% of yourself no matter what it is that you do. So perhaps there's some business planning, rationalization that needs to happen there. I think you might find that quite difficult to sort of, put a framework on what it is that you do in a way that sort of says, look, you need to keep it realistic, like you can't give 100% all the time. Sometimes you actually have to weigh this up in terms of what is it you're actually getting back. I felt, this could be a year to 2 years in with this particular idea. And, but either way, I do feel that there's actually been some steady output there and that it's been a very, very rewarding experience. But at the same time, there's a lot of pressures that are sort of, beyond what it is that you actually do. And I think this is where it's a bit tricky. Maybe for you, because I think that you're actually a very, creatively inspired, very passionate person. Your vision is very clear in terms of what it is that you actually want to do. And, ripping yourself away from being so hands-on and actually looking at, the broader sort of, business plan, so the administration or the advertising or kind of also just the kind of more constructive understanding of how to map this out is a little bit lost on you, or maybe it doesn't interest you so much. You'd rather just be doing what it is you love to do. And so that's where the reward is for you. But as a business, this actually is something that's actually requiring, input on lots of different levels. And I think if you come down here to strength and the Knight of Swords, I think there's actually been a lot of frustration as a result of that. Strength is a card of creative value and opportunity. And, it's a very passionate, high feeling card that really sort of, really carves out, a process of output. But it's coupled with the Knight of Swords, which is a really, frustrated process. I think you've actually been quite angry at times to the lack of progress that you've been making. I think that you've been getting caught up in certain details that affect your creative process. I think you've been very upset that you're not where you want to be or where you think you should be. I think it's been quite hard on you on a day-to-day level. I kind of feel this is like on a day-to-day level over time has sort of worn you down and compounded your situation. So you love what you're doing, but you're hating the fact that it's just not succeeding in the way that you want it to succeed, or you hope that it succeeds. So you're getting caught up in your head. And when you get caught up in your head, of course, then you're sort of really beginning to compartmentalize in a way where you're divorcing yourself from your more holistic creative process, if you understand what I'm saying. If we come up here to the Hierophant and the Two of Wands, I think these are really interesting cards, because I think you're actually at a point now, it's like, oh my God, what do I do? Where am I going? Because it's not sustainable to keep on going like this. And so there's this idea of looking beyond, these circumstances. And, the Two of Wands is a card of consideration as to where your career is going. I think you're looking to sort of say, well, what else is out there beyond this? What else is there that I can do? And I think it's the realization that if you do something different, maybe if you go into a more regular paid job, that is about working for somebody else, then it's going to be really dry. That creativity will be very much lost in terms of having to work for an organization or for an employer that requires you to kind of punch in and punch out in a more robotic way. And I think that you could do that, and it probably offers you a lot in terms of, like day-to-day stability and planning. At least you can sort of think ahead, without having to worry about credit ratings or finances or managing a whole lot of stuff that you don't enjoy doing. But at the same time, I think that, it sort of robs you of your creative process, because you become contracted to somebody else that doesn't give you any flexibility to sort of work is, to work, in a way that makes you feel fulfilled, but also it robs you of a huge chunk of your time that will undermine any ability to be able to do what you really love externally to that. So I kind of feel that this would be a really central focus for you that would basically give you something to work with for the short to medium term, but it's not sustainable for a longer term future. Yeah, so stifling creative process. And I think at the end of the day, I kind of feel that you would actually end up hating working for somebody else. If we come down here to the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups, I think this is, it's very much about uncertainty for the future in terms of being able to unfold, something that is truly reflective of your nature. I kind of feel there's a lack of clarity about what you're wanting at this point in time. I think you've been very caught up in frustration about the lack of progress. There's new considerations about maybe going to work for somebody else. Everything's become frustrated, internalized, and it's compromising you in terms of your ability to not only produce creative output, but, to be able to see clearly beyond, like some sort of regular job. So I kind of feel that, you're a bit caught up in yourself on that level. It's a real soul-searching period for you. And I feel there's a lot of diffusion going on in terms of, your ability to, I kind of feel that you're feeling a little bit defeated by the uncertainty at this time. Everything kind of feels a bit dreamlike. It's like, well, what it is that I want seems so far off. Maybe I'm just fooling myself. Maybe this isn't really possible. Maybe I don't have what it takes to, to make this happen and to succeed. So, it fuels that anger and frustration once again. And I think also, it just makes you feel really uncertain, because it's like, I don't feel like I'm empowered here. Like, I don't feel like I have the power to manifest what it is that's really reflective of my authentic self. And, I think there's a sense that you're kind of very lost in your own process at this particular time, because there's quite a lot going on for you. And I think you're just seeing lots and lots of restriction. And, the anger seems to me to be very real as well. I think that's actually, I think that you don't have to scratch very hard to kind of like to sort of, provoke a very heated and almost like irrational outburst at this period of time, because I think there's a lot of pressure going on in your life. And I think if you come up here to Justice and the Two of Cups, I think these are really cool cards, because I think that the outcome here for me sort of says, that with Justice, it's like making decisions based on, everything that's come up to this particular point. It's about analyzing the data, really. It's about looking at things in a very kind of realistic, square-on way. It's like, take all the emotion out of it, take all of the frustration out of it, take the lack of progress out of it, look at it for what it is. On balance, at the end of the day, you've actually learned an enormous amount coming through this process. It's not like this actually is a defeated outcome. Like at the end of the day, you just need to be real about where it is that you are. And I think that for me, it's like, okay, what sort of fair and just outcome do you really want here? You can't be a victim to yourself because of your own frustrations. You can't be a victim because of your lack of vision to be able to manifest what it is that you want. It's time to get real about this. I hate to say this. I'm going to be a bit hard here. It's time to grow up, okay? It's time to face the facts. You're amazing at what it is that you do. You're a really talented, gifted person. And the thing is, when you are focused on what you love doing, you produce the results. Everybody loves you. They love what you do. You're a very gifted individual who has found their path. There's no question about that. The part for me here that actually undermines this process is that you're a little bit hopeless at working on your own with this. So you know what you're good at, but you have to expand out and look at this as a business. It needs a plan that is bolstered by different skills that actually complement what the core value here is. The core value is the work that you do, but the running of the business takes different skills and experiences, and you need to develop these in a way where you take ownership of it. I think that for me here, when you look at the Two of Cups with Justice, I think that you've hit your limitations in terms of what you're able to produce beyond, the product that you're actually putting out there and making money out of. I think the business, in terms of its totality, is showing you that you need to develop new skills and new experiences that are above and beyond the main service that you're providing. Okay. And the way to move forward on that is to engage the service of somebody who can help you in a way that takes you out of your head on this. Because at the moment, you're just frustrated. You're going back and forth in your head about what is it you can and what is it you can't do mostly. So it's kind of like it's really taking your power in a way, because you just don't. And the reality is that you don't know how to make this succeed because you haven't developed the skills and experiences that are required to look at this in terms of like the big picture of what you're doing. You need a mentor. You need to engage with somebody who will actually give you feedback on a professional level and help you to look at this objectively. They won't buy into your emotions. They won't buy into your limitations, of what you see is possible. They will give you advice that will reflect the true nature of what your circumstances are. They'll weed out what is possible and what is not possible. So you need constructive input, but also you need to be prepared to listen in a way where you begin to develop and to grow, so that you can actually own this business and run it more effectively in a way where it engages you on lots of different levels, not just the service that you're providing. Okay, so whether that's the administration, the advertising, the financial side of it, you need some. Look, if it's not a mentor, maybe this is actually doing more research and planning and actually getting up to speed in a way where you can begin to take yourself out of this limited view that you're actually experiencing just at this time. Maybe it's about doing a short course in business, okay? Maybe it's about doing some sort of, night course, or, like a sort of a 3-month engaged course that really teaches you how to run a small business. I think also the other thing for me is I think that you get a little bit caught up working on your own. I think you love doing what you do on your own, but I think at the same time, you also need to be able to bounce things off of other people in a way that feeds back into you, because you get very caught up in what you're doing and you get caught up on everything that's going wrong. And I think that actually undermines the kind of health of your sort of your position, in terms of just, you become quite affected about the small things that are happening. Like, so one small obstacle on top of a whole lot of other small obstacles becomes just one huge obstacle that you feel that you can't overcome. And if you've got somebody to kind of bounce things off of on a day-to-day level, or maybe, again, if you had a mentor who you could go to that would actually give the ability to sort of engage and thrash those things out, and also to have some healthy workspace where you're getting out of this mindset that is sort of perpetually frustrated by limitation. So look, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is a winner. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I think that you found your calling, and you really need to dedicate yourself to this. And going to work for somebody else is not the answer. But new ways of working, in terms of understanding that you have to grow and develop in terms of adapting new skills and experiences, so that this actually becomes like a more broadly successful concept, is totally the way. And you need help with that. You need somebody to give you a hand. Hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That will give you notifications for future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. This is your reading, and we are looking at your career and financial situation today. So let's look at what's going on here. We've got some cards on the table to start with, and I think what strikes me here, first and foremost, about some of the cards that I see here, is that you burn very brightly in terms of your energy output. There's this very strong, determined nature that sees opportunity in terms of career and money in a way that just knows how to maximize and make the most of it. I think you're quite savvy when it comes to opportunity around money, and just making the best out of a situation in a way that really works for you. So I get a person here who is very capable and adaptable to situations and circumstances. I feel like no matter what's thrown at you as a person, that you're just able to kind of take it on in a way where you don't emotionally react to it and let it get the better of you. I think there's a real level-headedness here, and what strikes me most of all is this enthusiasm to look at what's going on in a way that really sees opportunity. So quite exploitive in that way, but positively speaking, I think you can be quite cutthroat when you need to be. I don't mean to say that makes you a mean person, but I just think that you work very well in situations that are kind of in the deep end, or which are very dynamic and can be very unpredictable in a way. Like I feel like you're always ahead of the game. You're always thinking ahead. You're always analyzing what's going on in a way where you are quick to adapt. I'm going to start over here with the strength and the 5 of Wands. I feel sort of historically you've been in a job or in a number of roles that have been highly competitive. I feel like this is a long history, actually. I feel like you've always been in a role that's required you to be really switched on, and that it's always go, 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 right? So there's never any downtime. There's not a lot of time to relax. That uses an enormous amount of energy. That's what I felt with these two particular cards. I feel that this is a very competitive environment, or a very competitive industry that you've been working in, which means that everybody's kind of looking for their cut. You know what I'm saying? You can see that here with the 5 of Wands, really enthusiastic card that's very dynamically engaged with lots of people. So from a sort of professional workplace output or an industry output, there's always challenges going on. And it's a very healthy kind of engagement. At the same time, it requires you always to be on guard and to be thinking about what's going on. So I felt, that you were very passionate about the work that you've been doing. You can see that here with Strength, which is a card that is really trying to sort of tame the wild beast in a way where it comes to terms with very challenging situations that can be overpowering if you let them be, but it requires a sort of like an inner patience there to, excuse me, to really conquer the situation. So a great deal of maturity here that shines through in terms of your ability to get the job done in a way that is successful, really. I think the thing is that what I find a little challenging about these cards is that there's never any time to actually let your guard down. Like there is competitiveness around you, and if you let your guard down and somebody sees your weak spot, they'll take it for what it is that they can. So whether that means taking new territory, taking something away from you, overpowering you to sort of like to climb up on over you to get to the top. For me, this feels very dog eat dog. You're either somebody who can handle that kind of work environment, or you're somebody that can't. And I feel that you're quite a robust person when it comes to that kind of situation. This could be sales. It could be the financial sector. It also could be I felt that, because the Strength is a really highly creative card. It could be the creative industry. I'm going to sort of keep it very broad. It could be a corporate area. Whatever it is, even if it's not any of those key kind of areas, it's an area that, you've been working in that's very competitive and very industrious, but requires a lot of energy to deal with. Yeah, lots going on there. I kind of feel a little bit out of puff there, sort of just describing that, because that intensity really rises up with Strength. It's a very passionate card, very driven. But coming over here to the Star and the 4 of Swords, I feel at this particular point in time, I kind of feel like you're really tired out. I feel like the energy has been very drained. It's like I'm always needing a rest. I feel like I need to recuperate. You can see that here with the 4 of Swords. is that sense of just wanting to have some time out, not wanting to keep your eye on the ball. The star is all about focusing on everything in a way that is determining your goals. I think you've come to a point where you really needed to slow down, to have some time out to kind of figure out what it is that you're doing. There's a reassessment going on here, like a real meditation on what it is that you're actually really trying to achieve in your life. I felt that the energy was very low and that you were just kind of really trying to sort of figure out, is this really what I want? Is this really where I'm going for the rest of my life? What are the other considerations in terms of my career and financial trajectory? Do I want to look to do something else? I think also what I really feel here is it's like I just want to let my guard down for a minute. I just don't want to have to be so engaged at 100% all of the time. And also I think really importantly, it's like I just don't feel like I've got any energy to do anything else. It's all work. It's all about my drive and ambition to engage in my professional life. It's like, well, what about my personal life? What about my own interests? What about the time that I have to give to other people? There's a lot of other stuff going on. Why does this have to be such a central focus that absorbs so much of my time, so much of my energy? And also perhaps also coming to a point where I felt, there could be sort of like a reevaluation in terms of what your priorities are here. So definitely, all of the health cards are out here: Strength, Star, Temperance, Four of Swords to some degree. I think also maybe it's sort of like, like a feeling of like, I don't know if I can keep up with this anymore. I don't know if this is sustainable. That's the big thing for me. It's like, okay, so you can continue to do this work if you have to, but you've got to push to do that now. And I feel like I want to have a rest. And I don't feel like I just want to have a rest just to recover from the last week or 2 weeks. I feel like I want to have a rest from maybe focusing on sort of something that is so I guess all-encompassing, yeah? If we come down here to the moon and the 10 of chalices, I feel, there's worry. There's a lot of worry going on here about a lot of different things, okay? I wondered whether mental health is starting to take a bit of a knock here. The moon is a very depressive card. The energy goes very low. So the physical energy is low. The kind of the mental energy kind of feels very low. It could be for some of you, it could be about depression, maybe feeling that you're not able to give to not only yourself, but to loved ones. You can see that here with the 10 of chalices. The 10 of chalices is like a very emotional card that really figures and centers on this idea of happiness and fulfillment, especially with family and other people. I kind of feel like there's a worry here, like a concern about how your focus and the way that it is that you work impacts on other people who are around you. But also, it's like I don't feel like I have the time to enjoy my family life, perhaps, or I don't feel like I have the time to go out and do the things that make me feel happy and replenish my soul. With it always being just about work, it's just, I kind of feel like I'm missing out on something here. I think that's probably, more generally speaking, what I'm feeling here. It's just this, I'm always having to be on guard for a situation and to output into like a workplace focus that I really enjoy, but that's not just who it is that I am. And I think up to this particular point, I think actually your work has defined who it is that you are. Your work is not just all encompassing in terms of your focus. I think actually it says a lot about who it is that you are as a person. I think you've very much defined yourself by the job that you do, and that's been very centrally anchored in your world in a way where it's taken up all of that time and space for a reason, because you've lived your life through that identity in some ways. Whereas now it's like, things are starting to unearth, and the moon does that. It shakes things up at a really deep and core level. It says, okay, there's an unconscious mind here that's kind of capping a whole load of other stuff that needs to boil to the surface. That's actually about more than just your professional identity. This is about these are core values that are about your inner happiness, your inner peace. The other things that actually make you whole. Your job is just one aspect of what is it you're doing. It's not the whole. It's one piece of it. So I felt. So quite a lot going on there. And I think, if we come over here to Temperance and the 9 of chalices, I think this is where things are really, you're really thrashing out your priorities. Like it's like, okay, so what is it exactly that I'm missing out on? And, what do I need to do to make everything work? The temperance is about, it's like bringing everything into balance and like trying to get an understanding of how things work. You're kind of going over it in a way that, mulls it through to get a better outcome, a more refined, attuned outcome to address. You can see here with the Nine of Chalices, things have been pretty good for you, I think. I think you've actually achieved an enormous amount out of your career to this point. I think financially you've done a lot as well. I feel like there has been a sustained success in terms of achieving all of the goals that you wanted to achieve. But now that it comes down to sort of more about your personal identity or your sort of, I guess, the rest of your world as far as what makes it whole, yeah, which is everything else other than your job. It's like, okay, so what's missing? What's going to give me the fulfillment that I'm feeling that I'm not getting? And I think it's that realization here is this sort of understanding that the career now has to fit around you as opposed to you fitting around it, right? I've identified that there's some things here that are missing, and I need to find a balance in a way that actually gives me the happiness that I need. I felt also, once again, this idea of health for some of you, it's like, I can't sustain this. I can't sustain this in terms of my health. Whether that's mental health, whether that's physical health, whether that's your long-term. I'll be honest with you. I felt for some of you, this could be about age as well. Maybe for some of you, you're getting older. Maybe the reality is that when you were younger, it took nothing for you to kind of work in this kind of really edgy, exhausting way because you always had energy to throw at it. It's just like I can go, and I can keep up with it. And I felt perhaps for some of you that this was an industry that was actually really young. It's like there are people working around you that just seem to be able to kind of get the job done really efficiently in a way that is based on their inexhaustible energy and their very dynamic way of maintaining an engagement, and whereas for you it's like, oh god, I don't know if I can be bothered with that anymore. So I think for some of you maybe it's like you've kind of outgrown the experience to some degree. But all's not lost here. I kind of feel that things are heading in a really positive direction for you one way or the other. And I feel that in terms of where things are moving to for the future, especially over the next 2 months, and more specifically the next 2 years as a sort of, I guess, a short to medium term, chunk of time, really. I felt that it was this kind of, very, solid, grounded realization that you need to diversify your life in a way that achieves a balance. So this is about work-life balance, right? Okay. And I felt that, it's about, work and life and, so home and career, but this is about sustainability. It's about keeping it dynamic, keeping it interesting, working in a way that reflects your core abilities to kind of, jump in the deep end, but in a way that doesn't just kind of make it exhausting. It's, for me, this is about a sustainable business, a sustainable business model, but also a sustainable role that fits within that business. It's a more mature approach to working that's less cutthroat and less overly ambitious. It's about being realistic as to what makes a success, in terms of producing results in balance with your personal life. Okay, so some really good stuff going on there in terms of your more broad and core realization of what you need for yourself, because this is about you. This is about what you need for yourself. It's not about just doing the job for the sake of doing it anymore. It's not about just getting the job done in a way that just does it for the sake of it. It's actually about, this is about foresight, based on experience. So I felt that there was a financial opportunity coming up here in the guise of a new role. I felt that this could either be in-house to the current organization that you're working in, or it could be external. So it could be one of those two things. But I felt one way or the other that there was an opportunity for increased earnings here. You can see that with the Two of Pentacles. You know, you've got a very dynamic, creative, engaged situation that is about diversification, and it's about doubling things up. Okay, so I kind of feel that there is some sort of increase there in terms of your earnings, but perhaps it also could be about a reward system. So it could be about a bonus system that actually gives you recognition for hard efforts, and it's coupled with the World, which is about success and fulfillment. And this is a really fantastic card to have with such a beautiful card here with the Two of Pentacles. I felt that there would be some sort of kind of recognition for the need of flexible working as well for some of you. Maybe it's about working at work, but also having the freedom to work from home. You know, I felt that, you know, also this was about flexible working time. You know, maybe there's going to be some days where you feel really good, and maybe there's some days where you're not going to be feeling so great, and you need to be able to be flexible in addressing that energy output in a way that really kind of bends to your needs. So this is about the job working for you as opposed to you working for the job. I felt that there were perks in this job. I felt that maybe there was also some sort of enticement for you to come on board. It's like whoever, whatever this organization is, whether it's in-house or external, it's like they're going to see that you have a history of you know, really dynamic output and success, yeah? And they're going to want you to come on board in a way where they'll really, you know, make it worth your while. So I kind of felt that there was an offer to get you on board. That could be a lot of different things. You know, it could be a financial incentive to get you to come on board. It could be better working conditions in terms of, you know, not only flexible time. You know, it could be perks of the job, such as a car, or, you know, it could be, you know, if you've got kids, it could be something to do with daycare for your children. You know, it could be some sort of gift incentivized scheme, you know, like, you know, rewards to kind of give you some sort of gift that makes it, you know, just makes it nicer for you to be there. It could be the workplace environment, having your own office, or, yeah, so I kind of felt what was really important about this was also there was a slower pace. I kind of felt that there was more time to graze. You know, see that here with the sheep in the background. I love this. You know, I kind of just felt that this is a lot more mature, a better kind of slower pace that's sustainable. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you've got time to kind of, you know, stop and, you know, smell the roses type of thing. Yeah. So I feel overall that where things are moving forward to is that you are moving towards a really positive opportunity that will address these core needs. But for the moment, okay, I think you really need to get clear on what doesn't work for you and what you need more personally and professionally to make this a sustainable future. I think once you get really close to kind of thrashing that out in a way where you're clear on those core and fundamental needs, the opportunity that I'm talking about will begin to present itself in a way that, you know, gravitates towards you very, I would have said very quickly. So for me, the next 2 years the next 2 months, this is actually kind of really starting to develop. But I felt that this was a role that would be really solid for you over the next couple of years. And, you know, it's certainly food for thought in terms of you know, like a catalytic realization and opportunity that actually takes you into a sustainable long-term future. Okay, look, I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 4. This is your reading, and we're looking at your future career and financial situation today. So let's jump on in and have a look and see what's going on. I have to say the first thing that really sort of strikes me with these cards is the characteristics of your professionalism. A very stabilizing influence in the workplace. You take your work very seriously, and there is something about the continuity of your approach that's very steadfast, and I really admire this. And I think that this influence is a real backbone to the organization that you're working in currently, and you apply the same principles to whatever it is that you're ever going to do, really. Um, you can see that here with the Knight of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, the King of Wands. These are really stable cards that just chip away at things in a way that really gets results. So very results-based focused. I'm going to start over here with the World and the King of Wands. And I really feel like leading up to now, you know, the role that you've been in, you've kind of hit the ground running in a way where you've soaked up so much experience. And I feel like you've risen to the height of where you need to be in terms of your career direction for that particular time. You've shown yourself to be really capable and experienced in a way where you've just gotten on with the job, and you've shown a lot of leadership and a lot of initiative in a way where you've been really dedicated to your role. The King of Wands is a card of high professionalism in terms of career and workplace activity. It's a card that takes on a job or a role in a way where it just owns it, you know? So it gets in there and actually gets all over it in a way where it says, look, this is what needs to be done. This is my vision, so I'm going to do it according to the way I know how to do it, and I'm going to see it through until it comes to completion. And it always aims to reach success on that level. It's coupled with the World, which is a card of fulfillment and success, in that when you pair these two cards together, I think that you've really just shown a lot of vision in terms of what you have felt is possible within this particular role. And I think that you've always looked at what you're doing in a way that is above and beyond the parameters of what you're dedicated to. So I think that you actually not only take on the vision of what you're doing in the work that you're doing, you're also looking more widely into the organization, and maybe looking more broadly even beyond that. You know, there's the potential of, you know, really trying to understand how this place that you work in fits into a bigger picture. You know, whether that is a strategy of trying to understand what the competition is about, or whether that's about looking at the potential as where this organization can go, more broadly speaking, national, global. You know, the World is a far-reaching card. There's no boundaries there in terms of success. And I think that you've seen that the role that you've had has provided you with an opportunity to really step up, and you've actually stepped up to that. I feel like you're a very, what am I going to say here? So there's no limitations there, very project orientated. So that for me, this could be very corporate. You know, I feel like you're taking charge. I feel like you're taking leadership. You know, even if the role isn't technically about leadership, you know, I just kind of feel that that's the kind of person that you are, and that's your potential that you can actually step up to. But for some of you, you know, you might actually be in charge of a particular project or a particular division or an area. And I kind of felt that reflected very, very nicely into these cards. Coming over here to the Moon and the King of Pentacles, I kind of feel that things have changed to somewhat. I feel like the financial and professional opportunities have really started to dry up in a way where things have sort of began to slow down, and you know there are more limitations just at the moment in terms of your projections towards the future in this particular role. I feel here with the King of Pentacles is a card of stability and security, but it's quite limited financial return in terms of, you know, I guess the outlook. You know, over the long term, you do make a return, and it is very solid, but it's not. I don't feel like it's matching up to your input, that's for sure. I kind of feel that, you know, currently, I think that you've actually outgrown your role, your situation, your circumstances. I feel like the opportunities around you have dried up in a way where it gives you a feeling of uncertainty about the future in terms of where this is all going. You know, the Moon really emphasizes uncertainty and, you know, a feeling that something's not quite right. And it amplifies this idea of the Knight of Pentacles in a way that sort of says, look, you know, This gives me stability, it gives me security. It certainly pays the bills. It gives me a slight return, but I kind of feel that I'm above and beyond that. And at the end of the day, I think more importantly, I know how to do this job. I can do this without really thinking about it. I know it like the back of my hand. I go in, I start my day, I get my job done, I come home, wake up, repeat. So I think for me, I kind of feel a little bit bored here, and I feel that the concern around money is starting to be amplified in a way that gives you a lot of uncertainty. And I think also developmentally, it's like, this just has limitations. What I'm trying to say here is it's like the fire and the passion that I see over here at the beginning with the World and the King of Wands has dried up. I kind of feel like that's been doused or dried up in a way where it's like, this is uncomfortable. I feel like a big fish in a small pond, like I'm rattling around an experience that actually has a lot of limitations. I don't feel like there's anything dynamic and challenging for me here in a way that actually says, I want to stay. And if I come down here to the Hierophant and the Nine of Pentacles, the Hierophant is all about management and hierarchy from the point of view of a job or your career. I kind of feel this reflects a very conservative management approach that is entrenched in its ways, because that's just the way it happens. Like it's a system that everybody works to. It isn't I don't feel any progression here for you. I don't feel like there's any progressiveness within the institution from a management point of view. And if we look at here with the Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of talent and unfolding talent, it's about finances and further growth from from a financial point of view, but it's also from a professional developmental point of view. It's looking for more. It's looking to unfold more of itself. And I kind of feel the combination of these two cards for me feels to me that for some of you, it's like you've approached management perhaps and said to them, look, I kind of just feel like things have dried up for me. It's a lot of limitations, and I've really given you a lot of dedication. I've worked really hard. I feel like I'm worth more financially, most definitely. But I also want more to work with in terms of, opportunities that will actually give me some developmental opportunity to really, to grow above and beyond what it is that I've already accomplished. But, this is a very conservative, I feel like this sort of is a very conservative background in terms of the management, and that it's been a bit of a sort of like talk to the hand situation where you kind of almost like reached an impasse. There's nothing more for you in terms of an offer of development there, or financial remuneration is probably a bit of a problem. And I kind of feel like I feel perhaps even for some of you that they've actually failed to recognize your contribution. And it's a situation probably, for many of you also, where it's kind of watch and wait. It's like, okay, we've heard you. We take that on board, we'll get back to you. But things are just moving really slowly in a way where it's like, it's just, one day at a time, and it's not really inching towards anything that actually gives you something that's really hopeful. And I feel where you are right now is down here with Judgment and the Eight of Cups. Time's up. The decision to move on is really at the forefront right now. It's kind of like, Judgment is all about making decisions based on your past experiences. It's quite a big card in terms of the gravity of what it really means, because it's sort of take it or leave it. You're either in or you're out. You need to make a decision in order to move up and onwards. And if you look here with the Eight of Cups, the two of these cards say, look, it's time to move on. I want more challenges. The Eight of Cups is really thirsty for new experience. It wants to grow. It's all about phases, the end of a phase, so very much looking towards a new beginning in many ways. And I feel if you look here with the Judgment, it's about the dead rising up, I kind of felt maybe this workplace arrangement, it's a bit of a zombie culture. Maybe people are just kind of bundying off in a way where they're just there just to get a paycheck. I feel like you've outgrown this place. But I feel like the kind of conservative nature of the management is really out of keeping as to what I see with you and what is you have to offer, because I think that you're quite a passionate and Yeah, I think there's something a bit more. It's not necessarily about being cutthroat. It's more about the fact that you're just prepared to throw yourself in at 100% if it sings to you, if it's right for you, if you get along with what's going on, whether that's the opportunity or whether that's management. And I think if they showed you something that was more about recognition of your efforts and rewarded you in a way that was fair, then perhaps you'd actually be having a very different conversation within yourself. But I felt that a combination of all of these factors have left you to feel that it's about greener pastures and about moving onwards in a way that says, you know what, I need to make a decision to move on. And I feel that that's very much what you are going to do. And I felt that what was in the balance for you was over here with death and the Four of Pentacles, really confronting cards on one level, but really stable on the other. I felt that this was very much about a difficult ending linked to a new beginning. It's a transition period where you're having to let go of this particular organization and everything that it represents to you. But I felt that a new role was in the balance that actually ticked all of the boxes. And you can see that here with the Four of Pentacles. It's about getting everything that you want in terms of stabilizing and consolidating your position. I felt that there was, and when I say an ending linked to a difficult new beginning, because I feel that you have to step outside of your comfort zone as well. I think things have been very stable, very secure, very bankable on many different levels. But a part of what your challenge also is to confront that in a way where you're prepared to let that go and jump in at the deep end in some other kind of situation that means that you're going to become the smaller fish in that pond, yeah? So rather than kind of lording it over everybody and knowing how everything works, like it's on the back of your hand, it's kind of into the deep end, into an organization that I felt was quite a major operation, very city-based or very, I kind of feel like this is like a head office, it's a central location. It could be an international hub, it could be city-based, or it could be the head office of an organization that really is across lots of other satellite, either facilities or offices or organizations. I felt like you were in a central place where, all of the cogs were turning in terms of that particular operation. And death kind of, for me, in combination with the Four of Pentacles, kind of feels like it's like the buck stops with this particular place, yeah? A very established organization, which you can see here with the Four of Pentacles. And I felt that this was a really cool long-term forecast. Four of Pentacles to me says 4 solid years of really, really bankable financial return. I kind of feel like you're stepping up in a way where you get everything that you want. It's like whatever it is that you're going to negotiate here in terms of like settling the deal, yeah? Brokering the deal financially. It's like, I think you'll stick to your guns here and you'll say, look, this is what I need. If you want me, this is what my criteria is. I need this is what I need financially. This is what I need logistically. So, your working arrangements in terms of either working from home or maybe travel allowances, if you're actually going into work, support for maybe a car or whatever it is. It's like brokering a deal that gets the deal done in a way that it gives you everything that you want. And I felt that you would be really hard-nosed about that. And I think that you know what your worth is in that sense, that you will really stick to your guns. And I felt that they were getting a good deal as well. It's like, you are in demand for these particular people or this particular organization. I felt that this was a more cutthroat situation in terms of the I guess the working environment. But at the same time, because there's a really high demand for your skills and your experiences, of which you have a lot of, there was a lot of flexibility to meet your needs. And I felt that you would be able to sustain this period of 4 years in a very solid, secure way. So it wasn't high risk, probably because of the greater working environment of supply and demand, and the fact that whatever it is that you do, there is a demand for that, which will secure you for the longer term. I felt that this would be a role that would give you a greater degree of control over your work. So there's autonomy here. Yeah, it's like you're left to get on with the job. You're left to manage things in a way that suit your needs. And I feel here that this is definitely a new beginning that ticks all of the boxes and helps you to move forward in a way that really builds on the experiences that you've accumulated in this current role that you've been in. So, management might be saying to you, talk to the hand, but I think that you, in response to that, will move forward and move upwards and move onwards in a way that will really give you a lot more growth and a lot more financial security for the future. Hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card 5. This is your reading and we're looking at your career and financial situation today. So let's have a look and see what's going on. Now, drawn up here to the Hangman and the Four of Swords. Look, I feel like you're unemployed at the moment. You're in between jobs. I don't get any activity here with your career just at the moment. Definitely a reflective process. There's quite a lot of time out here, I feel. Like you're really coming to terms with why you're in this position. I think you're looking at what kinds of sacrifices you need to make in order to move forward. There's definitely a lot of contemplation about what it is that you want to do. At the same time, I kind of feel like you don't have any energy just right now. It's almost like the wind's been taken out of your sails. And I just feel it's like, I just want to slob around on the couch and not do much. Maybe watch some television and kind of, when I do kind of engage with the idea about getting a job, it's like, it's more reflective as to why I've actually come to this particular point. I think there's a really important reason for that. I look more to the past. You come over here to Death and the Queen of Swords, and I feel that you have been forced out of work for some reason. I feel like this is a very difficult set of circumstances that has led to your unemployment. I feel quite a lot of bitterness here, a lot of grief. The Queen of Swords is definitely a card that goes through quite a traumatic experience. And even though the Queen is level-headed in terms of analysing what it is that's going on, this is a person who has lost something. There is loss there, there's grief there, there's resentment to the situation because it's not a pleasant place to be. And it's coupled with death. And so death is like an ending link to a new beginning. So something's finished for you here in terms of your employment, but it's been a very difficult transition. I felt this could be a number of things. It could be that you've been forced out of your job. For some of you at least. For some, maybe you've been forced to resign for some kind of a reason. Maybe you've been dismissed. Maybe you've been made redundant, but not through choice. Also, I felt here, one way or the other, it's like you're forced to leave wherever it was that you were. It could also be that the organization that you work for has been dissolved for some reason. Maybe it wasn't viable anymore. Maybe there wasn't any sort of sustainability in as far as it wasn't able to maintain its process to keep on going in a way that it could be successful. In any case, you've been forced out of this position into a very stressful set of circumstances that is very confronting and quite unpleasant to be in. I feel at the same time, though, for you, I kind of feel like you're actually quite a clear-headed person. I don't feel that you're sinking in terms of your inabilities. In fact, I think you're actually a really capable person who is able just to kind of make it happen as soon as they decide to do it. I feel that these cards here, they're more about reflective process that has brought you to this particular point. And I kind of feel that there is some sort of resolution that needs to be made, some sort of healing that needs to come to terms with. So lots going on there in terms of your circumstances. Now, I feel like I want to come down here to the Magician and the Ace of Wands, because I kind of feel that, like, in the balance here, you're about to regain your power in a way where it's all about manifesting opportunity. You know, the Magician is, once again, it sort of shows this capable character that comes through in a way where it's able to hit the ground running once it makes its mind up to do what it is that it wants to do. And the Magician is all about that. It's about focusing on the opportunities at hand and utilizing whatever it takes to make it happen successfully. The Ace of Wands is a card of new opportunities, specifically around work. And I felt that, I would have said over the coming month that you're kind of, entering into a very new energetic phase where you recover from this set of circumstances that you're in now. And, you refocus in a way where it's all about making it happen. So I kind of feel that you have quite a broad set of skills and experiences that cross a lot of different industries, cross a lot of different roles. I think you're very adaptable and capable, and that it's really just about selling yourself and actually being very present and engaged in the process of finding a job. I don't feel that you have any issues with your confidence. I don't feel that there's any issues there in terms of the workplace responding to you. I think that you're highly employable is what I would have said. I feel that you are quite savvy, actually. I think you've got a very strong, very keen intellect. I think that you're quite streetwise. I think that you can see circumstances for what they are, and I think you know how to cut straight to the point in a way that doesn't kind of waste a lot of time. Very efficient, very analytical, very intelligent. I think you're very capable. I think the one thing I want to say there, though, is I think that it's really about making a decision to do what it is you really are suited to, as opposed to just getting a job for the sake of it. And I kind of feel that where things are heading to in the next month to 2 months is kind of putting it out there, seeing what's on the table, and really making a choice as to what the best position, what the best offer is in terms of getting out of this situation. I do feel over here with Temperance and the Queen of Wands, I kind of feel that within 2 months there is a job in the balance for you. I feel that this role is going to be a very non-pressured, restorative role that really puts your faith back into some kind of balance. It's sort of, it gives you the ability to come to terms and to fully resolve what it is that's happened here in the past in terms of this set of circumstances with your previous employment. Okay. I felt that this role would arise either out of like a network of people that you knew. It could be a good friend. It might be old work colleagues. It might be through friends and family. It could be an agency. I kind of feel like there's somebody that connects to what it is that you're doing in a way that kind of kickboards you back into employment, into a role that's actually a lot more short to medium term than it is long term. I felt that this was a really happy environment that provided a lot of perspective as to where it is that you're going and what it is that you're wanting to do. If I come back more to the present, I feel that a lot of where you're at the moment is trying to figure out what it is that you want to do next as well. At the same time, I think that there are some limitations in terms of what you're prepared to sacrifice in order to make any one particular thing happen. And I think that's based on the fact that you're not energetically feeling it right at this point in time. So I kind of feel that you're in the right place, and that the role that I feel is in the balance is the right role for you to get back on your feet and to restore some kind of balance and faith in your circumstances, in employment, in your own capabilities. I kind of feel this is more catalytic, towards something that's actually going to be longer term. I think the main thing here is that there's no pressure. I don't feel any pressure over here with this role. And I feel that the circumstances that you've been in and where you're at the moment, I feel like there's a lot of pressure there. I kind of feel like this is very uncomfortable, very gritty, very confronting. I feel like where you've been in terms of this previous role, I feel like that's actually been quite a cutthroat environment, quite a very difficult and unpleasant set of circumstances that has I wondered whether you were sacrificed. For some of you, that you were a sacrifice, like a sacrificial lamb. The hangman is all about sacrifice, and you're reflecting on that now. For some of you, I kind of feel that this is a situation where perhaps you've been forced out one way or the other. I think the bottom line for me is, no matter what it is that's happened to either to any of you, is that this has not been a pleasant situation, and I think it's just been very stressful, is what I'm saying. Coming down here to the world and the 9 of Pentacles, the thing for me is that you're a very talented individual. And I think where this new role will take you is into a place where you can begin to contemplate what your true developmental requirements are. This job, it's just a time filler. It's a gap filler. You're so much better than that. You're so much more intelligent than what this has to offer you. So I kind of feel that in some ways it's a match, but it's also a mismatch for the longer term. And I think this is where it comes back to really understanding what you're made of. And I felt that in order to kind of step it up and actually take it to the next level, you needed to concentrate on this potential to develop yourself in a way that gave you more skills, new skills, developmental, prospects in terms of your professional experiences. It could be about study, doing some sort of study that actually helps you to get a leg up and takes you to the next level in terms of your financial earnings, or in terms of the kinds of opportunities that would be more suitable for you. So I feel essentially this is really about broadening your professional appeal to a more not a general market, but it's kind of breaking beyond the parameters of what it is that you're actually capable of doing right now. And the world really expresses that in a way where I kind of feel that you have infinite potential here in terms of really stepping it up. The 9 of Pentacles is all about latent talent and wanting to sort of realize more of your potential in terms of what you're made of on that particular level. It could be also that, I felt that maybe you need to move to a different location that has the kinds of resources that can really address what is required of you to develop and to grow and to kind of, to find new skills. And to have this kind of, broader appeal in terms of your professional selling points. So in all, I kind of feel that this is a difficult transition for you. I felt that although your energy is very low at the moment, that was just a blip on the map in terms of where the next step is taking you. I kind of feel that your energy will rise up in the next month to 2 months in a way where you feel the power again. You're feeling like you have what it takes to kind of make things happen. There's recovery there. And, you can see that here with Temperance as well, with this new role, which is a healing card. This new role that I feel that is in the balance for you is going to be one that will really help you to get on your feet, really help you to heal from what is that's happened. Because I feel this has actually been a very painful process for you. And I think most importantly, this role will just kind of get you out of your head about what it is that's going on at the moment in a way that really just gets you more hands-on. But for the longer term, it's definitely about your professional development in a way where you really need to kind of seed that and start to nurture some new opportunities that are based on your ability to kind of expand your skills and experience and to sort of put it out there more broadly. Lots to kind of, to sift down there, but good news ahead. So I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.